The first thing is just a lot easier to market to a specific individual instead of marketing to everybody when it comes down to content.
Welcome to the Partners Podcast, where you get exclusive behind-the-scenes access to entrepreneurs who are relentlessly building real, profitable companies. Join us as we ask them the hard questions so you can take away the mindset, strategy, and tactics that launch them to success.
Welcome to another episode of the Partners Podcast, joined today by a special guest, also living in Medellin, Colombia, Julian Corzo. He's had quite the journey as an entrepreneur in the content game, in the video game. I'd love for you just to introduce yourself. How'd you end up here?
Yeah, absolutely, man. Let me get to it. First of all, I appreciate you having me on, man. I love meeting entrepreneurs in Colombia. It's just so crazy because I thought that a negative about coming here was going to be the networking, but there's been so many people I've met here who are in the agency space, the video space. It's been amazing. But I'm Julian, I'm 24. I've been an entrepreneur, I guess officially for 3-4 years, but I started off when I was 16 in the dropshipping space, started off in the paid ads game. And then I actually day traded a little bit. I'm sure we all have.
I feel like every entrepreneur, or everyone that's on the IG entrepreneurship journey has done some sort of has at least touched e-commerce to some degree 100%. Or day trading or the Forex type stuff.
100%. Right? Yeah. So I turned 4,000 or 5,000 into 29,000.
Yeah.
And that money's just gone. I lost it all.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
That's how it goes.
I watch Wall Street Bets. Just anyone that has the crazy mediocre rise, you'll see 2 months later, they're oh, I lost it all.
Yeah, well, I caught those crazy pumps. But anyways, I was always a videographer though. I always loved videos. I used to want to be like Jay Alvarez. I don't know if you know Jay Alvarez.
Yeah, I followed.
Those travel videos with girls and stuff. Always wanted to be like him. Then I started to, actually my first course, I got it on Black Friday and I split it with my parents. That was my Christmas gift. I was full-time filmmaker.
Yeah, great course.
Great course. So, I mean, they
great
taught
community
you,
as well.
Great community. Yeah, they taught you the basics about just filmmaking and stuff. But I thought my calling was dude, I'm going to start shooting weddings. I shot 3 weddings. I'm I never want to do weddings again. Then we got into the real estate media space. I feel everyone does that as well. Working with realtors, we used to just cold call them, offer them free videos, and then upsell them into a social media package. Then we went that route, and then we transitioned fully into just the online space, servicing info business, online coaches, and the real estate investing space in South Florida. And now we currently run also a coaching program, and we also started another agency where it's basically just maintenance, servicing a few old clients, and just testing out some things that we're looking to sell in the future.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So what would you say was your first claim to fame that people started respecting you as an entrepreneur and not just seeing you as every, entrepreneur on Instagram that's just
100%
flexing?
Yeah. So a big thing was when I first started to build my personal brand, but our first 5 clients that were in the info space, we took them from some sort of mediocre following to over 100,000 followers. We blew them up on IG, on TikTok. So that's when we started to get a little bit of fame, started to build some credibility. Was when we just started, their videos are going viral, they're really blowing up, they're scaling their business.
I think that's even better than doing it for yourself, is when you can do it for other people
100%
in a repeated fashion. And that's also led to my success. Originally, I scaled my agency to the 7 million a year. And then when I was able to help a couple other entrepreneurs get to go from the 15K to the 50K, other people were okay, help me now too.
Exactly. And well, yes, in a sense, but so I took those people viral, right? Blew up their following. And then I started to slowly focus more on my personal brand, because I think as creatives, it's so easy to create content for other people. But when it comes down to ourselves, it's a different story.
Yeah.
It's I don't know this. It's a different game. So I started to create content about how to actually grow a following, just personal branding. And then people would comment on my stuff oh, bro, you have 800 followers, 1,000 followers, right? I'm sure you've gotten those comments.
Yeah, I'm still there. I only have 3,000 to 5,000 followers. I don't even keep track.
Yeah, I mean, which is still a great number, right? If you had 5,000 people in front of you, you'd be holy shit. But Yeah, so then I did it myself. I went viral myself, and that's when I also got credibility as well. So I took other people viral, and then I took myself viral.
All right. The big question is, what did you do? Like, what are the different steps that you had to like unpack or like just write down, and what was the process of making yourself something that's viral worthy?
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, I'll kind of break it down into like 3 things. The first thing is don't reinvent the wheel to an extent, right? When you're first starting out, you want to replicate what's already working. But as you gain experience and stuff, you obviously want to make it your own sense. What's that person called that remakes music from like famous people?
Just like
a cover artist.
Oh yeah, cover artist.
Yeah.
That's how they blow up though, because people want to listen to.
They blow up like that. But do you know of any famous cover artist? No. Like eventually you have to build your own name, but in the beginning, that's how you're going to uplift yourself. So just replicate like the content that's already working. Obviously, just don't copy it, bro. But you know.
Well, the internet's so big that I've seen people copy straight up other people's content, and it goes unnoticed, and people are like, "Oh my god, this shit's so good." I'm like, I literally watched another bigger person do this like 2 months ago, word for word. But like, hey, this person made it their own to some degree, but it's still like word for word.
Yeah. So that's the first step. The second step is like just genuinely having a good video. If the audio sounds like shit, if the video looks like shit, and if it just looks like shit, you know, it ain't gonna get the views. And the last thing is just genuinely.
I want to break that down though. Yeah. Step 2, it doesn't really take that much effort. You invest in a half decent mic. You can get like decent mics for like $50 even. Like that sounds half decent. Get some, you know, lighting in place, or sit in front of a window.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you only need an iPhone too, right? We've seen it countless times.
Yeah.
Tons of people are, you know, getting crazy results, going viral just with their iPhone, but the video looks good, right? They're not like in a fucking bathroom, lights off type stuff. Like, good lighting. And the last thing is just actually like, there's so much that goes into a good script. Right? Like, is the video actually informative? Is it unique? Like, can the audience actually get something out of this that they haven't seen before? So like things of that sort that you always want to think about. My friend Devin, I don't know if you know Devin Thatcho. I had a podcast with him, but I love this one saying he has. It's like, is the video worth $5? Pretend like, and I'm talking about like straight the info space. Like, I mean, you can go dance and go viral, but like, I don't give a shit about that.
Yeah.
Is the video worth $5? So pretend like, in order for you to get like an informative video, you have to like pay Instagram $5. So let's just say you paid Instagram $5, and then it's like a lottery, like and then your video comes up.
Yeah.
Would your audience be satisfied paying $5 for that video?
Yeah. Or would they feel like they bought a booster pack and they got ripped off? It's like, there's nothing here.
Yeah. Or did they buy a Pokemon pack and they didn't get shit?
That's how I feel. That's why I quit buying boosters recently. I bought $1,000 worth, like expected value in my mind. I'm gonna pull all these fucking amazing cards. Real value, you know, $300 for the $1,000 I spent at best.
Yeah. So it's having like those 3 things in mind. I would say those are that's like surface level, actionable things somebody can take.
Yeah. And what about like how consistent did you have to be? How long did it take? Maybe you're you know, someone who got lucky, but like how, like for the average person who wants to get good at this, what does that process look like? Because it's not overnight.
Yeah, so I started like maybe 2 years ago, but when I started, I posted like every day for almost like 6 months, like just ongoing stuff. Like I was just a dog when it came to it. That's all I focused about. But there's also this other thing I did. So there's 2 things. The first thing I did was I created something I call like the Dream 30. It's pretty much like 30 clients that I wanted to work with, or just like people in my space. And you always want to engage with them because most likely, like if you comment on their stuff, somebody else is going to see it, right? If they always see it, they'll click on your page. But it also gives your IG like a bit of a ranking, so you don't look like a bot where you're just posting, exiting the app, boom. So I was doing that, and then I was also posting it every day for like 6 months. So I mean, people will post like 30 videos. Be like, no, I'm done. This ain't for me.
Yeah.
So I posted like hundreds of videos.
Yeah, it's like going to work out for a month and thinking that you're going to be in shape for the rest of your life. No, you gotta. It's every day, or at least every week.
That's
right?
why,
every
like,
month.
I was talking to Ridge, and he was asking me, he's like, dude, what makes the difference between like a killer and not a killer? Like, you know.
Yeah.
And I literally told him, I don't know, you just got it or you don't.
Yeah.
It's so hard to explain, right?
Yeah, I would say like if you had to break it down in a word though, it's like discipline and showing up even when no one's watching.
100%.
Like you're not putting on a show for like creating content like this. Like these YouTube videos, they don't get that many views. I best like 1,000 per episode. And for me, it's just like I'm following Hormozy's playbook. Like, dude, do 200, 300, 400 episodes before you expect anything. And for me, there's like always like I'm looking at the value of it. I'm using these podcast episodes to learn, and the more I can learn, the more I can help my clients. And so like 100%. I'm indirectly benefiting from these podcasts, creating short form content for myself. Even if I suck, now I know what it's like to suck, and so I can help someone.
Exactly. I mean, that's why people pay you, right? I mean, because obviously you've been successful in what you've done, but you're continuously learning and learning and learning. So they pay you
for your failures, because you get like for you to be able to empathize with them, to be in their situation. That's really what you can charge for. Is not just your success, but all the shit you went through to learn.
100%.
Yeah.
Again, they're just paying to cut down their time.
Yeah. Let's talk about Just Create Studio. Like, what was the first 10K a month like? If you were to do it again, how would you approach it differently?
See, I remember when we hit our first 10K, I thought I was so rich. But it was Rev. You know, when I had my first 10K in Rev, I thought I was so rich.
Yeah.
But yeah, how did we get there? So the first way we got there is we just started offering free videos up front, like the cold DM approach. Just like, hey, well, back then cold DMs were obviously a lot easier than they are now. Like this strategy won't work now.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, we just took this person viral or did this. We'll love to give you a free video edit. Just like send us raw footage. Or we'd also just clip their YouTube and then just send it to them if they had that.
Yeah.
So usually how it went for us is we landed those like that first one or two client, and then we got plugged into their community.
Yep.
And then the referrals started to come in.
Yeah.
And then I started to build my brand, and that's how we also started to get clients as well.
And that's all you need is you need one or two like great case studies or great clients that have a network. And a lot of people think that they got to sell 10 people. It's like, no, just crush it for one or two clients as if they were your one and last, right? Yep. Your one and only and your last one that you might ever have. And then build your whole business upon 100%. Delivering success for one person.
100%. Actually, how it was I already had some content on my page. Because the way we started out was, because Just Create Studio, I guess like the first inception of it, we were just like videographers. Just like weddings, real estate media.
Yeah. Anybody that's willing to pay you for a video.
Anyone who wanted videos, we would do it, right? Yeah. I mean, I think we all start there. Obviously, you know, you ain't going to build a business off of that. And then one day, this one guy posted on Instagram saying, hey, I'm looking for a video team. And then my friend commented me on that post. And then that guy reached out to me because I think I had some content on my page. And then we hopped on a sales call. And I've always been like pretty good at sales. But he asked, do you guys know short form content? Have you done it before? I was like, yes. Never done it before. I mean, we've done it, but not to the extent he wanted it. It was like different, right?
Yeah.
It's like, absolutely. Yeah. Then like we sold them. It was like a 4K a month package. And after that, I just searched up so many YouTube videos.
Hey, dude, as long as you're willing to figure it out, and if shit goes wrong, you refund them if you actually fuck up.
That's the thing, right? Yeah. Like the worst case, you refund them, and it's honestly an expensive lesson, but you learn.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's how it started off. And then we got plugged into his community, and then we also did the cold DM approach, and then boom, 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 clients started to come in.
Okay. And then if you were to go back and maybe tweak what your approach there was, because I know now you're in like coaching and you're creating another content company as well. But like if you were to revisit Just Create Studio back when you were just getting started, what is one piece of advice you would tell yourself then, or like tweak your business?
Yeah, 100%. I would say two things. The first thing is be better operationally. Back then it was a mess. Like when we were like 10, 20K per month, it was a complete mess. Like just...
What does that mean?
Raw dogging it.
Like
just literally Google Drive and...
Text messages,
yes. Communicating with your clients through text. Not really a set schedule. Like just literally sending video ideas and the scripts through text. Calling them, hey, are you free to shoot this day? Whatever it is. And then just Google Drive.
Yeah.
Fucking mess.
I feel like that's where we all start.
Yeah, it was a nightmare. And also at a point I was editing as well.
Yeah. So what systems would you implement now if you were to go back to Just Create?
All right. So like, honestly, these systems work probably like 30, 50K, but a project management system.
Yeah.
Notion, ClickUp, or even Monday. I like ClickUp, but we started off with Notion and we went to Monday. just a basic thing like Kanban style. Just like think of it as like a Trello board.
Yeah, moving stuff through the pipeline.
Just like literally an assembly line. Boom, 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 boom. Having more SOPs, as in like when we do hire editors, hey man, this is how each video needs to, almost like coming up with like a checklist of what each video needs. Hey, the text needs to be under the chin. Every 2 seconds there needs to be like a B-roll. There's always needs to be like music, all those things.
Yeah.
Because the way we did it, we'd onboard one and we'd just train them ourselves.
Yeah.
Super unleveraged, took a bunch of time. I would probably say those two things are like just easy stuff that you can do right now. Now, the second point was just acquisition. Just having like a better sales process, focusing more on reaching out to better clients because
quality over quantity.
100%. Because at a point we did quantity. We're doing like hundreds of videos a month, just like cranking. Just like people who weren't even who shouldn't even be posting content.
And even if you worked your ass off and you did a backflip to sell them, like they're not gonna stick around and they might, pay you for 2-3 months, but they weren't a good fit to begin with.
I mean, I'm sure you've had those clients where
I priced myself out.
Yeah, like you'll work your ass off for this one client, like 150%, but they still won't get results.
Yeah.
Then you work half the amount of effort with this client, fucking crushes it.
Yeah, especially if they already have a lot of the foundation and you just need to help them tweak it.
So how do we go after this client more? That's what I would have focused on more. Yeah. Because I always thought it was number of clients. I want to have like 50 clients.
The more I've done business, the concept of who keeps coming up, both on the client side and on the team side. Like
100%.
it's always about the who. Like who's the client and who's on your team that's going to take you and grow your team to the next level, and who's the client that's going to introduce you to their entire network and be the case study for you and not the huge headache for you. So like that question is something that is a theme now in life and business. It's like, is the who the right who? If not, then you gotta qualify, disqualify, move on.
Exactly. But a big thing is like you have to be a person worthy of attracting that tier of employee or that tier of client.
Yeah.
And that's another thing I would have done.
The who starts with you.
Exactly. I would have focused more on also my personal branding. Obviously, the bigger your personal brand, the higher quality people you're going to attract, especially nowadays.
Yeah, there's a lot of clout chasers out there that will work for free if they're like they can just name drop you even.
Exactly.
To say that you've worked on Harmosi's team for a year or something like that itself is worth probably working for him for free.
Dude, I've wanted to go to the Harmosi event. By the way, I've heard a bunch of mixed things about it. Yeah. You know, he has his workshops. Just to take a picture with him. Yeah. And run an ad. Yeah. Hey, content agency. Yeah. I know so many people just take a picture with them, run an ad because I'll give you instant credibility, right?
I'm pretty sure you can Photoshop that. Yeah. Harmosi won't remember all the people he's taking pictures with.
Have a picture with him, automatically your cost per lead drops.
Yeah. I have a picture with Gary Vee and Grant Cardone. I don't think it's done that much, but I also didn't run ads behind it. Yeah. But I know there's a lot of people following Harmosi that probably have ended up with Conquer Acquisitions, which is our next topic.
100%.
Tell me a little bit about the transition. Why did you stop Just Create Studios?
No.
Just go all in on this coaching business? And I know you worked with Grayson, right, as well.
Yeah, it was funny. Yeah. Grayson, shout out Grayson. When I joined Grayson, he was still running his content agency. And I saw his ad because he said, I'll help you scale a content agency. Something about a content agency, so I was like, okay, I do want to like really just scale this content agency up because we're at a pretty good point, but we want to scale even more. And then he
went into full coaching.
Dude, he's like, dude, go coaching. Yeah. I'm like, what?
I bought something from Boris. Where I don't know if you follow Boris.
Yeah, Boris.
But Boris was like, yo, I'll sell you everything I did to scale my video editing agency to 100,000 a month, and then. 1 month later, he's trying to scale down his whole video editing company. I'm like, is this like a broken business model you sold me? Like what? Like what's? But we stuck with it. Like at Market U, we're still cranking out video editing. We're at around 35.
Oh, so is that how you got your Monday systems?
No, we were. I mean, for sure, a little bit. There was definitely things we took away and like that we doubled down on. But there's things that obviously have gone stale, like the cold DMs. Offering the free edit. Like that's just. I think even looking at it from a year progression, the conversion's way down.
Oh no, yeah, that shit don't work. I mean, cold DMs still work. You just have to be very more precise about it. Yeah. And it's a lot more of like quality over quantity. You have to be a lot more with it. But yeah, so going back to Conquer, joined his program, and then he just I would never thought about coaching. I just wanted to scale the agency. Because one thing I do love about the agency space, especially content agencies, is it's free mentorship, dude. Especially the people we're working with people who are high-level individuals. We're editing their content, helping them out with the video ideas and stuff.
Yeah.
So I was getting like free coaching.
Yeah.
So I loved it.
Yeah, it was cool.
You're meeting new people. But yeah, he converted me into a coach. So the agency, like my focus got taken away from the agency. So I kind of went to a point, I went like full coaching.
Did you fire your clients at the Just Create, or did you just kind of...
in a sense, it just kind of
winded it down?
Yeah, kind of winded it down. They also saw that where the focus was. So it was kind of like a mutual thing. But we're bringing clients back on, the older clients with content launchers. But yeah, just went full coaching, coaching mode. So
I went into coaching myself 2 years ago, and I love it because when I look at business, when I look at, everything, like when I was a manager, when I was a director at my own agency, I was coaching in many ways, but my employees weren't super receptive students. And now I'm coaching business owners. Yeah. They're like, give me more, please. Like they implement, they execute, they see results. They want to spend more money with me. They want to stick around. And so it's a different type of energy and vibe. And I like it a lot more.
I love it. Yeah. I love it. And no regrets. But I also do like the agency side as well.
Yeah.
Because again, like now it's different. I used to be working up to people, but now that I've grown, you're obviously, I'm still working up to people, but.
What does that mean, working up to people?
So like, for example, when we're the agency, let's say $30K a month, you're working with people who are doing 50, 100, 200K per month. Mm-hmm. Right. But now I understand I'm not at 100K per month yet, but I have grown. So I'm just saying I'm not selling as much up to people as I used to, but I still want to be able to work with people doing 7 figures or 6 figures a month.
Yeah.
Just learning from them as well. Because that only helps the coaching side.
Yeah, for sure. Like all of it feeds into itself.
Yep.
And that's my favorite part about like being able to serve other people ahead of me. Is just like, hey, I'm learning for free in the process and getting paid.
Exactly. It's the best. And that's another reason I love the content agency model, just the video agency model. Yeah, it's just working with people.
Well, let's break down Conquer Acquisitions. Yeah. What was that journey like to being able to get to a point where now, I don't even know how many members you have, but I was at your mastermind dinner and, I saw over a dozen people flew out from Europe, from
all over the world just to meet you in person and to mastermind with your community. What was that journey like? How did you build an offering that agency owners want to be part of, and what are you doing? What is it? Like I know what it is to some degree on a high level, but like break it down for me. If I'm an agency owner with a content agency, why should I even look at what you're doing? Yeah, so I'll kind of break down our ICP. It's a content agency. They're stuck under like 10 to 15K per month. Their systems are trash. Like they're very burnt out. They're kind of doing everything themselves. And they have no predictable lead flow. Like they're just relying on referrals, which I know everyone does. You ask them, they almost like brag about it. It's like, dude, you shouldn't brag about that. But that's our IC. And also they're doing custom work for each person, right? They don't have like a established offer, who they target, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So it's a 90-day program. We might switch it back to 4 months. So right now it's a 3-month program. You just work one-on-one directly with me and my team. We help you, really craft your offer to get super clear on it, teach you how to get more leads, which is personal branding. I call it the content leverage funnel, which is my mechanism, and teach you the whole operational side, how to build those systems to not get burnt out, and also how to get your clients better results and how to build a team. So that's what we do inside.
Very cool. And then what can someone expect like month 1, month 2, month 3?
Yeah,
or
so
month 4?
Everything we do is kind of custom for each client. So for some clients, month 1 is just, dude, let's run this funnel, let's just scale, because they're kind of already set. Some of them is really breaking down, okay, we need to do these exercises, really figure out like, who should you start target? Like, what's your ICP look like? So breaking down the offer, some of them will be month 1. Offer and building out the MVP. Your minimal, like our MVP, what we consider is like, okay, do you have the operations to fulfill at least 5 clients? Great. Can you onboard a client right now? Great. Can you book a call right now? Can somebody book a call with you and have the right like sales process? Great, we'll set that up. And do you know your ICP? And do you have Instagram? So like those 6 steps, that's your MVP. Some people work on that on month 1. So month 2, we're ready just to land clients, go full acquisition mode.
I love it. Like ICP, talk about it, ideal customer profile, right? What is the importance of that? Like why?
I love this. I love this topic. Let's see how I can break this down. The first thing is just a lot easier to market to a specific individual instead of marketing to everybody when it comes down to content. Each person is going to have different needs, different desires, different problems, different goals, etc., etc. So a lawyer is going to be a completely different marketing strategy and cold strategy than online coach, for example. Completely different wants, different needs, etc. And it's a lot easier to understand one person than it is to understand 50,000 people, right? And we also, like, the roadmap is there to be successful. And you have $100 million leads there by Hermosi. He scaled up gym launch first. And the type of gyms that he was servicing were so specific. And that's just because that's what he knew. But yeah, so
he's like, I work with like gym owners. I don't work with personal coaches or like personal trainers.
So that's another point of it. It's a lot easier to build the systems, the scalability around that when you know that, like, okay, this person needs this. Like, that's who you want to target. So it's just like boom, boom, boom. It's a productized service.
Exactly. Like
Amazon, when you buy a product, do they change it for each person? No, it's just the product.
And then everything compounds. You can get case studies that build upon, like the ICP and who you're selling, so people can relate to that. You can do the messaging around.
It becomes a lot easier to market to. You really, like, once you work with the specific niche, you really start to understand their pain points, and that's another thing. Like, you understand what other products or services you can start selling to these people. Whether it's a SaaS, whether it's this, whether it's that. You always want to solve one specific problem for one specific person. I'm telling you, like, you can scale to a lot of money.
Yeah, you can get to $1 million a year no problem. With just one business model, one ICP, one product. The world's big, especially 100%. If you have something online like yours.
100%.
So what's the vision for Conquer Acquisitions? How many members are you at? Is it like, I know numbers, there's a vanity part of that, like saying I've helped X amount of agency owners do X, Y, Z. Where do you see Conquer Acquisitions in 2 years, 3 years?
I first really started to do this. I think it's almost been I think next month would be a year. This year is when it really started to kick off, but I think we've had over 75 students come in.
Hell yeah.
Right now active is, I think it's a little under 35. Those are active students. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but what's my vision for it? We want to be the top in the content agency space. We're very specific too. Like, I've had tons of people hop on sales calls like, hey, I do, like, for example, real estate media. I'm like, honestly, I can't really help you, dude. We work primarily with info,
like coaches, info products,
coaches, consultants, agencies, whether that's local or whether that's online. We also do work with local business owners as well. But yeah, my kind of like claim to fame is how I transitioned from in-person shooting to like a fully remote agency.
What are some of the success stories? Like, someone goes through your program for 3 months, like, what do they get out of it? Like, what does an ideal success story look like for you?
Yeah, ideal success story is that you land at least 5 high-ticket clients within the 30 days. You learn how to actually run your agency, how it should be ran. You have tons of just clarity and confidence into what you're selling. So many people struggle with that, where it's like they kind of know what they're selling, but they don't really know. So tons of clarity. Oh yeah, they're not burnt out. They have the systems. They know how to get more clients now. And overall, they just feel better about their agency. Like, the agency serves them instead of they're running around with their head cut off.
Exactly. That's definitely something that every business owner needs to avoid, and it's another reason to hire someone who knows how to get you from point A to point B. You've hired coaches yourself. Like, what is your thought process behind working with a mentor, working with a coach for your own companies?
Dude, I've spent so much on coaching. Like, I've spent some of my last dollars on coaches before.
Which means everyone coaching with you is getting coaching for pennies on a dollar for how much you've had to pay. You paid for it to give to them for a fraction of it.
I forgot about this story. One time we were trying to get into this videography course. I was like right after full-time filmmaker. Because full-time filmmaker, they teach you like amazing things about how to shoot great videos. They also teach you about the business side, but not really. This one taught more about like the lead generation side. I think it was like a 5K product, did not have 5K. So he said, yo, pull up PayPal credit. I'm like, okay. I got accepted for like $600.
Yeah. You're like, can I get it for 600? He's just like, nah.
I'm like, I forgot what happened, but yeah, that just showed you like, I had nothing to my name. But yeah, I've spent a lot, but my thought process behind it is, dude, it's just like, how can I just learn quicker? Especially nowadays, like I'll spend thousands of dollars when I only want to know like 2 specific things.
Yeah.
Like I have intention behind it. It's like, okay, I don't really need this information, but honestly, I just want to see how this is ran and I'll just pay for it.
Yeah.
Almost like, I guess like funnel hack on the operational side.
Okay. Well, what would you say in the last year, the one gold nugget that you've paid a lot for that you can just give the audience for free?
Oh, wow. That's a great question.
I'll give you one to start. So Josh Lyons, he trained Hormozy's Gym Launch sales team. Something that he really taught me that stuck with just everything is seek relevance, not significance. It doesn't matter what you've done, what you know, like what you're capable of. If whatever like solution you have or whatever product you have is not relevant to the person or relevant to like, even if you have an incentive program or like a compensation strategy for your employee, if they don't want to work more, no matter how much you give them, how significant the pay is, it's not relevant to them. What's relevant to them is they want maybe to go on vacation more.
Life, yeah. So
makes sense. Every time I talk to anyone, I'm trying to seek relevance now, not significance.
That's it. I like that.
Yeah.
Definitely want to talk about that more.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. The one thing, it's like 2 quick things. The first thing is just like literally your business is only as scalable as your weakest link. Always figure out what your main constraint is and like put all of your energy to solve that constraint. Yeah. So many of us get stuck in productive procrastination is what I call it, where you feel productive, but at the end of the day, you ain't doing shit.
You're not actually breaking through so you can double your business.
Like you feel like, oh, I'm getting work done. But at the end of the day, it's like you're avoiding what the actual problem is.
So how do you diagnose what the constraint is? Like what questions do you have to ask to figure that out?
Yeah, I mean, for like an online business, there's like 5 stages to it or 5 parts. There's your offer, there's attention on the offer, there's conversion, sales, fulfillment, and then like retention. Mm-hmm. So if you just break it down into that, it's like, okay, a lot of people can definitely work on their offer, but some people have a good enough offer to where they can make money for it.
Yeah.
So most of the time, they always lack attention. Yeah. It's like, dude, is your sales calendar booked out?
Yeah.
Or are you only hopping on like 2 calls per month? Okay, that's your biggest constraint. We need to put all our focus on that sales, because without a business, especially if you're under like $50K a month, it's always going to be sales.
For sure.
You know? But that's the second thing also I want to add to this little bonus. It's always ourselves that gets in the way of our own success. You know what you need to do, but you're not doing it. But that all always comes down to like almost like dopamine. Yeah. I've been diving into like dopamine. Dude, it's like, I'm sure like if you eat lunch after that, like you're cooked. You're probably you're not working at 100% capacity for like an hour or 2.
Yeah.
Right? Because I mean, food releases dopamine, but it's like, how can we get that down to where our work rate, our focus just increases. Like a great example I heard was, pretend like you're in an all white room, right? And you have a video game. So you're just playing the video game for 3 hours, and then somebody gives you like a work assignment or like a book. Are you going to be like, oh, let me do that? Or be like, no, fuck that. I'm going to continue playing my video game.
Yeah.
You're going to continue playing the video game. But let's just say if you're in an all white environment and you were doing nothing for 3 hours, and then somebody hands you that work assignment and book, you're going to be ecstatic to do that shit. Yeah. Like, oh, fuck, please give it to me. Right? A lot of us are stuck in area 1 though, where we're just consuming so many things. We're jerking off, like doing all these, drinking tons of alcohol, whatever it is, that we're releasing so much dopamine that when it comes down to the work, we just don't want to do it. And that's where a lot of procrastination comes from. That's the second thing.
Yeah. Well, I personally have experienced that a lot. And I find myself the least productive when I'm looking at Bitcoin and Tesla stock go up and down, because like that releases so much dopamine. When I fucking lose 50K in a day, I'm like, oh my God, shit. But you know, it's actually, if you can find a way to use it to your advantage, like it's pretty powerful. Like when I said, fuck it, I've lost this much money, the only thing I can control is work. Let me just dive into work.
Exactly.
And like, you know, treat everything like a blank room, and work is that thing that can give me what I want.
Yeah.
It's definitely worked to my advantage, but I totally get what you mean when it comes down to like today's culture where like
it's tough now, especially.
You can get all this fake dopamine, right? And until you
cheap dopamine.
Actually, the cheap dopamine, and until you've actually put yourself out there to climb a mountain that's worthy of climbing, to like close a 10K sale, to dial in your business where it can run on its own, those are all things that like create true wealth, and hopefully, you know, dopamine that's like worthy of like celebrating.
Yeah, that's it, bro. It's just saving that for the stuff that actually matters.
Yeah, that delayed gratification, the stoicism that, you know, we all need to practice more of, especially when you just get thrown free shit all day. You know, people.
I read this quote. It was like, life isn't always about trying to get more. Sometimes it's just about dissolving and getting rid of like what's in the way. Everybody can do this now. It's just there's definitely like 2 or 3 massive distractions that you can eliminate that will literally 50% increase your output.
Yeah.
You know?
So what's that for you right now?
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah. I mean, it's something that I'm trying to solve for as well, because, you know, I was the Pokemon master type kid, and when I was younger, I was like, gotta catch them all, and like that's how I treat business. I need more employees, I need more businesses, I need to go after this. And in many ways, if I had just focused or have focused on just one, that I might be a lot further ahead and a lot more at peace with what I want.
100%.
So
I mean, that's why I moved here.
Yeah.
Back home, I had so many friends.
Yeah, they're like, bottle service. Come out.
just like stuff like that. Just being back in your hometown, automatically coming here, you're removing a fat distraction. But like honestly, one right now is probably YouTube.
Yeah,
I do watch a fuck ton of YouTube sometimes.
Yeah. But there's so much good content on YouTube.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, but like the trick is watch one YouTube video and then apply everything you learn for at least a day, if not a week.
Absolutely. Yeah. And also, there's one practice I'm trying to do right now is like not being an iPad kid. So like when you're eating and watching videos. Yeah. Now I'm just trying to eat and not watch anything.
Yeah. This is one book I read recently. Where is it? This book. The Road Less Stupid by Keith Cunningham. Most people lose their wealth and their success from like making dumb decisions or doing too much, right? When you start making money, it's about how do you keep the money. Yeah. And when you start creating success for yourself, it's about how do you keep the focus, how do you keep the, you know, discipline, you know, because like when I first made my, you know, $1 million in revenue, I was just like bottle service, clubs, you know, and then I lost respect for my team. You know, I wasn't there dialing in on my products, you know, for the next year. And then I lost market share. I lost, you know, momentum with my team. And so The Road Less Stupid really emphasizes thinking time. You can have this book.
Oh, I appreciate that.
I'll buy another one.
Thinking time. That's a big thing. It's like how long, like how often do you genuinely sit there and just think about your current knowledge, just about yourself? Yeah. And evaluating. Yeah, because we have an affinity towards action, which got us here. Exactly. But the action is what's going to be our demise if we just keep go. Sometimes it's counterproductive doing too much, right? So you no, 100%. It's just like, and that's why I'm saying eating instead of just like watching. Yeah. Always trying to like just think, bro. Yeah, for sure. All right, so we got content launchers as well. This is a new project. Yeah. So have you thought through it? Like. I mean, so we already have right now just 2 clients. Nothing crazy. But the main thing about that is we're currently creating a product for content agencies. That's it's basically like this all-in-one system. And the point for content launchers is so one, you know, I can continue to be in the agency game, so I can better serve my students, but also so we can develop this one product and fine-tune it ourselves, like in real life. So we can, because we plan on selling it within the next few months. Very cool. Yeah. So
what is someone that wants to work with content launchers, like what's their ICP?
Yeah. Well, our ICP is that they're selling info. So they're coach, consultant. They're already currently running ads. So they understand like their acquisition costs. They understand their cost per lead. And essentially what we do is we go in there and we drop everything, right? I mean, we'll increase their closing rate with our content systems. We'll make them more omnipresent. We'll increase, we'll drop their cost per lead and drop their customer acquisition
So
costs.
is it like a done for you service?
Yeah, it's a done for you service.
Okay, shit, I might have to sign up.
They already understand, like they're already making money. They have a proven offer. It's just, they just don't have the right content systems in place to do what content is designed for. And that's really nurture, pre-sell, you know?
Yeah, beautiful. And then what about you as a person? Like, how do you balance business and life? Because obviously you got a lot of hustle behind you. Like, are you working all the time? Like,
No.
How do you balance that?
Yeah, so I have these things that I call it like my life principles. And it's basically a list of things that like, I'll always say yes to. Obviously categorize different, you know, others are priorities, like business is number one priority. But a big problem, well, like people will say, for example, I just feel like I don't have enough time in my day. Well, that's just because you're not saying no enough. So you have to build those life principles where it's like, listen, this is what I'll always say yes to. Like I'll always hang out with my family when I'm back home. I'll love eating food. So like, I love restaurants, bro. I'm like,
That's why you didn't turn me down for dinner after this. You're like, I'm in.
I love good food. I'll always say yes to that. Again, priorities though. Like not all the time.
Yeah.
Hanging out with my friends and girlfriend, obviously always say yes to. So it's business comes first, but when I do have some time, I'll always make time for that.
Yeah. And what's a realistic amount of business time per week, like that you allocate?
I'd say minimum of like 8 hours.
Okay,
So
8 hours a day.
Yeah, 8 hours a day. So
5 days a week, 7 days a week. How many days a week?
yeah, probably 7 days. I mean, on the weekends I wouldn't.
Well, you're
say 8
young,
hours.
dude. You're 24. So.
Yeah, I'm 24. I mean, I'm trying to take advantage.
24 and crushing it. I'm 34, and I'm like kind of where you're at right now.
I want to take advantage of this. You know, so like if you're in your 20s, even if you're 30, bro, it's still like Gary Vee would say that it's like incredibly young.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it's like take advantage of it.
Yeah.
You know, on Sundays though, I do kind of like to chill out. Sundays is more of just tracking my finances, see how fucking much I spent. It's like, bro, my God.
So what about investments now? Like you're stacking some cash, you know, you're in your mid-20s. Where do you put your money like right now besides investing in coaches and mentorship?
Dude, honestly, nothing. Right now I'm just full focused on, well, I guess content launchers and this other product because it does require like a developer in a sense. So it's just allocating and maximizing what we can with content agencies right now because we do see an opportunity. And that's the importance of understanding your ICP though.
Would you ever invest in one of your clients' businesses for equity? You know, have you thought about that?
I have thought about that. Maybe. In the next 3 months, no. But will that be something next year? I have thought about that 100%.
Because that's like where more wealth can come into play. It's just like, okay, shit, imagine if you found a gym launch equivalent and got yourself 10% or 5%,
100%.
and then it sold for 30 million and you're walking away with 3 or something, you know? So.
No, 100%. For that, I have thought about that.
Cool. And then what about like what you're looking forward to now? Like what besides work, like what's fun?
Dude, work is fun. But
same. You're like, what do you do for fun? I'm like, I'd rather be working.
People don't get it. They just don't get it. But I genuinely love working. I will say something I am looking forward to is getting off of sales calls. Mm-hmm. That is work.
Yeah, but at some point, once you master a skill, it's like, you know, it's monotonous, right?
Yeah, it's just very repetitive. It makes money though, so
yeah.
Not too much in a rush, but I am excited to. That'll also be an achievement of mine. It's like, wow, look, I'm making money without hopping on a call. Love that.
Awesome. So you're looking for a closer right now?
Oh yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So for those who are watching in Unicorns Closer or any other closing mastermind, Julian's got a pretty cool offer. Let's do some flexing though. Like I need some flex statements for the short form. What's the biggest deal you've closed and how that come to be? Yeah,
the biggest retainer we had was a 6K retainer.
A month. Okay.
I think the LTV of that client though was, do some quick math, I think they stayed on with us for about 6-7 months.
Okay, so like 40K.
Yeah.
Nice. And how did you go about finding them, and what did you deliver for them?
Yeah, so that client actually came, I believe, through referral. Again, this is one of
Shitting on referrals. His biggest client came from referral.
But you have to, the way we got the person who referred us though, right, it was like straight outreach. And also I think, I don't fucking know, it might have been my personal brand. I don't remember.
Yeah. It all compounds.
It all compounds, right? You need to have a brand, and you need to like, somehow generating leads. Right now, outreach is tough, especially if you're trying to reach the big dogs.
Yeah.
You have to have a brand, proof of concept. But yeah, what we sold to them, I believe it was 60 videos, and we were also helping them out with their podcast.
So 60 videos a month?
Yeah.
Okay, so like $100 per video, but you were just chopping up everything. Right?
Yeah.
So
because they had their podcast. So we had like 20 short form that were just designed to just straight like get reach. And then we had the other 30 to 40 that were just cut-ups of their podcast.
Nice. So your cost to fulfill that was probably like $1,500?
We had varying margins back then.
Yeah.
Because we knew how to source editors and we knew how to train them. Because this is, again, probably like a year and a half ago. Like now, I mean, editor costs have shot up. I'm sure you know, right? Mark, you?
Yeah, there's a high demand for editors and a low supply of good editors. So
exactly.
if you want to go through all the effort of finding an editor yourself, you're still paying at least $10 an hour minimum if you're trying to do it hourly. Yeah, totally. Before you could get editors for like overseas for $7 an hour. Yes, you would have to probably train them and skill them up. But now it's like the demand's definitely higher. It's 10. And if you want someone pre-trained that's really good, I mean, Market Use got you. It's like $15 an hour, if you want to save time and you want to just leverage. But yeah, editors aren't cheap. And especially if you want to work with anyone stateside, we're talking about $30 an hour.
At least, right? Our editors, we always pay per video. Back then, we paid like $5 per video.
Yeah. It's at least 10.
You're not getting that. No, $10 and like that's still a unicorn. That's still But yeah, so our margin's very high. So if you do numbers on that, we also had a QC. We were paying $5 an hour. So if you just do numbers on 60 times 5, what is that? $300. $300. Another another $200-$300 to the QC. $800 to $1,000 was like our cost.
Yeah, and then your time.
And my time.
So how much time does it take if you're running a good, efficient engine to?
Well, a big misconception, you know what I'm trying to say, is you can like fully automate your business right away. It's like, dude.
Yeah, not until you get to like at least 50K a month.
Yeah. It's like you're gonna have to put in work. But yeah, basically like my role is just finding the video ideas, coming up with the structures of it. And so if I had to put a number on that, to fulfill them on my end, maybe like 5-10 hours a month, maybe. Yeah,
that's not bad. I mean, you're making 5K in 10 hours with the team in place. Give me one more flex with like your current coaching offer. What's the most like students that you've brought in a month? Like how much ad spend, how much cash collected?
Last month we did have our biggest month, but I don't know if it was the most students just because we raised the price a little bit.
Yeah, well, hey,
than the previous one.
That's more important, right?
Yeah. Right. So revenue contracted was 50K. Nice. That was contract. Cash collected, it was like 16K. Definitely got to increase that, So we spent $3,100 in ads. So our customer acquisition cost, I think, was like $400 for upfront cash collected, not contracted.
There you go.
Yeah.
Those are still some solid numbers. So for those who are looking at working with you, what kind of struggles are they dealing with like today? I know you talked about like different things you help them, like the solutions.
Yeah. So the biggest thing, dude, if you don't have a clear offer, and honestly, if you're just offering video edits, I call that a commoditized service. It's very hard to be successful in this game if you're just offering video edits, because you can just go to Market You, right?
We'll outcompete you on price.
Yeah, I'll compete on price. Freelancers, you're in a battle who can do it for a cheaper price. So you have to add other things into your offer to make it more appealable, more attractive. If you don't have any systems in place, and what I mean by that is like, dude, if you're just raw dogging it, text messaging your clients, or even just some basic Notion stuff, and you're super burned out, you feel like you're doing everything, you're like reviewing your editors and stuff, and if you're only relying on referrals, if you're only hopping on like 2 to 3 calls, because here's the thing about referrals, we got lucky, right? Because in a sense, we figured out who our ICP was. We went after that person, and then that person was just in the community of other ICPs. But the problem with most people is they don't have a clear offer. So they'll take on anyone and anyone when they really should not be taking their money. They're not they're not a qualified prospect.
Yeah, and it takes like 4 times as much work to just figure out how to serve them.
Dude, they'll make you rethink life. They literally, like, these clients will make you rethink existence. It's like, dude, but I'm telling you, that client is just not qualified.
Yeah. All right. Well, hey, tons of golden nuggets, tons of knowledge, tons of wisdom on, your workflow. When it comes to the operations side, I know that's something you wanted to dig a little bit deeper into. What is good operations on the back end look like? Like, what do you have to have in place? You talked about the systems on a high level, but how does
the first thing is you have to, well, I'm not even talking about sales. I'm just talking about because that's a whole other system you need to have in place. Let's just say you collected the cash, you closed the client. First thing is an onboarding process. Onboarding processes are so underlooked. Like, if somebody just paid you $4,000, you need to make sure that you are taking them through a great experience. They know exactly what the next steps are, and everything is automated, systemized, beautifully ran. First impression is everything. If you can give your client a great first impression, they're going to be happy about their purchase. If somebody pays you and you're doing everything manually, you're like, oh, I got to do this. Let me set up this. Let me send you this information. Then you send it like 40 minutes a little bit too late, and they're just like, oh, it's unprofessional. Already a bad impression. Yeah,
you got to be proactive. You got to set expectations. You got to make that first impression, because it puts the ball in their court, and you're not like, oh, am I dropping the ball? Right?
Exactly.
Like, if now it's that your client's like, oh, I'm dropping the ball, I don't feel mad, or I don't feel bad about this retainer I'm paying a lot for. Like, if anything, they're coming to you, like, if they're ever asking for a refund, they're like, oh, I know it's not on you, it's on me, but like, could you give me like a 2-week credit, for me not showing up?
Exactly.
So it's always about, are you controlling the ball? And sometimes like you pass it to the client and it's on them now.
I think Andrew Tate said this. It's like, if you were a girl, would you date yourself? That's a great question. Oh, shit.
That's with anyone. If you're a guy, if you're a person, would you be friends with yourself?
Exactly, 100%. So think about it in your business. Would you pay $4,000 for what you just delivered to a client? If it's not a confident yes, you need to work on that. After the onboarding, there's just overall fulfillment. Handling your editors. What team do you need in place? A lot of people in the content agency space, they don't have a schedule with their editors. They're always behind on videos. There's always tons of misspelled errors, and they have to go on there and just manually look at everything. Yeah. It's super unleveraged.
Yep.
So
you do it right. You find the right editor. You get them trained up. That's like a headache you remove permanently.
Yep. And your editors always need to know. Your team always needs to know like what they need to be doing every single day without you having to like always tell them specifically.
Yeah.
That's called the system.
Exactly.
SOP. Yeah.
Yeah. So what's this mean? Seek and conquer? Like, is that?
Yeah. So it's like
what does that mean to you?
I'm Christian. So it's pretty much always seek God for guidance and wisdom, and then conquer anything that gets in the way. All
right, well, let's wrap this up. This is a question I like to ask every guest. If you could leave this world with one lesson, like one piece of advice, for the future generations, for, your children, if they're too young to learn the lesson themselves, or from you firsthand, what is that lesson? What is that story?
Yeah, I'm honestly gonna go like very kind of basic here.
Yeah.
It's just straight up integrity, be a man of your word, and be a good person. Like, treat others good. That's literally it. My dad always taught me be humble no matter what stage you're at. Always be a good person. Always be that person that respects others, and be a man of your word. If you're saying you're gonna do something, do it.
Yeah, I love that. Well, I felt that from you when I met you like at that dinner like 2 weeks ago, and when you came in, sometimes I get a little bit nervous because I see people on IG. I'm like, oh, what are they like? Right? Like, is that the same energy? And you're the exact same person that you are on IG, and it's actually even more comfortable, meeting you and talking to you in person. I feel like you're super accessible, approachable. You're just an open book, and I can see why people want to mentor with you because you bring a lot of that.
It was funny. I was speaking at another person's mastermind, and at the end, this guy told me, like, honestly, Julian, from IG, I thought you were a dick. That's what he said. And he said, but you're an awesome guy. I'm like, yeah, I guess I look like a dick on IG. I don't know.
Well, hey, sometimes, people just get a little bit, I would say insecure when they see other people just dialed.
I guess.
Yeah, I think it's probably more insecurity because like if you're a very well accomplished person, you know, when I saw you, I'm just like, this guy's just on his game more than I saw that you were a dick.
Yeah, there you go. Awesome. I appreciate it. Well, thank you, man.
Yeah, you're welcome.